Hello and welcome. It's been a while, and today we have Medyhne from Tweed's Head. How are you going, Medyhne?
Oh, good. Yeah, it's hot here. Whew.
Yeah, that's good. It's actually funny because we had some hot days, and summer was like a bit slow to start. We had a couple of hot days, and now it's all cool again, which is nice because it gets really hot over in Perth.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not only is it hot in the weather, but oh my gosh, waking up to some amazing news this morning.
Mm. Yeah, you were just telling me.
So
Why don't you share that?
yeah, yeah. So some friends were sharing me a clip from Dr. Michael Sala where he said that basically what happened was the dark elite were in Antarctica negotiating their surrender to to the white hats, to the alliance, to the benevolent forces, because they wanted to get out of here as quickly and as possible, extricate themselves, and at
The
the same
off-worlders, you
time,
mean?
the dark ones, yes, yes,
The off-worlders,
they wanted,
yeah, because they're leaving.
yeah, they
Yeah.
yes, they wanted to go, and sort of be able to negotiate that for themselves. But at the same time, they were being asked to um, transition the earth out of the current situation it's in to a higher octave, in terms of the transition into the 5D. And so they're
Mm.
trying to negotiate as seamless as possible transition so that there's less, collateral damage. And so that's really, the liberation of the planet completely. And so wouldn't it be brilliant if we see the end to all this stuff and this stuff, ASAP and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing, as a consequence of this. And one of my friends sent it to me, and she's pretty tuned in, and she said, best news she's heard ever, just about.
Yeah, well, we can talk about the thing because I know that you guys have had a bit of a liberation over where you live. We can talk about that in a sec, but I wanted to touch on the what you've just said because there are so many. I mean, there are many truthers out there, many people that are kind of tapped into things that most people can't see, right? And and there's a guy called I think his name's Michael Collis or something. I think his name's Michael Collis, and he was saying that the off-worlders are being like usually like time doesn't exist, right? But what they came to agreement that by December they have to get out because they were like, you've overstayed your welcome now.
Yeah,
We've already been talking about this for a long time, for how many years, and now is December's the time. Like December's when you have to leave. And I'd
yeah,
heard that
yeah.
I'd heard that Klaus Schwab and Christine Lagarde went down there thinking that it was going to be some sort of a
Yes.
take this to the next level bad guy meeting, but it turned out to be the opposite of that, and they were kind of a little bit ambushed. They didn't know what to expect, and they got there, and they're like, okay, now this is not what we expected, and they've actually agreed to kind of work with the good guys on Earth to kind of help, or it was that get or they die, so
Yeah, so they can actually go somewhere else, right away from this system, so that but apparently their powers will be taken off them anyway as they leave. And
right,
it's true to, if you can confirm that Christine Lagarde did write a Twitter that she was going to negotiations in the Antarctic. So she
mm.
actually even put it in her Twitter. So
But that
that's
was in
interesting.
July, wasn't it? That post was from July, I think.
It could have
I think it was a long time
been.
ago, and
I'm not 100% sure.
Klaus
Anyway,
Schwab
Dr.
was
Michael.
only like a couple of weeks ago that he said he was going. But Christine
Yes.
Lagarde was, I'm pretty sure it was July.
Well, Dr. Michael Salla didn't mention that. He just said that she'd done a Twitter. But anyway, it's sounds extremely encouraging.
Yeah,
Put it that way for
right.
everyone else left on the planet. And so I'm just envisaging a transition happening really quickly, because the more people that envisage
Mm,
that, the quicker it'll happen.
yeah, and we're already starting. I mean, obviously it's very difficult for. I mean, you're psychic. I'm not, but it's very difficult for people like me and other people out there to kind of to who don't have that ability just yet to kind of tap in or to kind of see what's going on, like specifically in Australia right now, because I know two states have actually rolled back their restrictions for people that haven't had it, which is really interesting. And I kind of wonder. like what the reason for that is. Is it because the good guys are in control and that's what they're doing, or is it because the bad guys are kind of still got a hand in something and they want to let the unjabbed kind of roam the, not roam, but go in intermingle with all the jabbed, and then the cases suddenly rise and they can blame us again. That's
Sure. Well, intuitively, what I'm getting is, and it's sort of magnifying more and more as time goes on, is that there's an enormous amount of work being done under the radar by the good guys, and they're really clearing up all the rubbish, so to speak, and they're transitioning into a new system, but they have to do it under the radar because they can't. Otherwise, the dark will know what they're doing, and they will, reveal their plans and so forth. But also because the dark, as we know, are very nefarious, that they have to really strategize the whole thing very, very carefully. And so I feel like an underswell or undercurrent of really good action is taking place without being seen. It's hidden, and I feel like an energetic rising as this is happening, even though I can't specifically see it because it is hidden, but I can feel it. And you can see things like all the CEOs being leaving their positions. What was it, 7-8 resignations in the Victorian Parliament.
It was like 16 or something. Not just Victoria, but all over Australia. It's been about 16 or something.
Yes, in
since
total,
November.
absolutely. Exactly. So, all those sorts of things are indicating that there is huge transition happening. And also, there is a lot of disinformation and fear points. So people have to be careful with that. But also the other point metaphysically is that the earth is raising its frequency, and I can feel that as well. Like even the 12-12 portal was huge. The energy on that was spectacular. Like I felt so happy and uplifted and really light. Like and other people said the same to me. They felt like a weight had been lifted off them on the 12th of the 12th, just this month. It was a really big portal. And so as that happens, the frequency of the planet rises. And so the dark can't sustain itself in those energies because it's just not a vibrational match. So it can't stay.
Right. Yeah.
And so not only am I feeling this undercurrent, a building up of the dark being basically taken down, taken out, but there's this metaphysical raising in frequency, which also can be reflected in the raising in consciousness, which you can see in the protesting. This is just doubling every time that people get together to protest. It's the numbers are truly enormous now. You've got 1 million in Melbourne potentially with the last one. So that there's so much good stuff happening, and I can feel it energetically and intuitively. But I can't say that I'm physically seeing it acting out because, it is still hidden. But I think we're getting really close to a huge shift. And the other thing is that on the 21st of the 12th, which is just coming up, is the solstice. And that, again, is an enormous, incredible, more than the 12th of the 12th, gateway for shifting into the new energies. So, for example, people can meditate on that day. They can really be mindfully holding a high frequency, a high consciousness. They can be getting crystals and programming beautiful energy into the crystals and placing them in the earth, and asking these crystals to impact the ley lines and connect one another with light and with, positive energies. There's lots of things that you can do on that day, but that day is going to be another huge opportunity for humanity to leap forward in the evolution. And that's super exciting.
Yeah. I've never felt this whole entire journey. I've never felt more positive than the last few weeks. And
Me too.
I've been having a lot of ascension symptoms as well. Like I will just get, I feel like I'm getting sick and then it just goes away, because you know what it's like.
Yes.
It's like you're getting sick, or I was in bed like a couple of nights ago and my whole I had a really, really intense experience probably like 7 months ago, really intense, and never happened anything like that before. But ever since then, my ears have been hissing, right? But on this,
Ringing or hissing?
yeah, hissing, yeah.
Hissing. Yep.
On
Yep.
this particular day of last week, it was a lot louder than usual, and my whole head was kind of like throbbing. It wasn't a headache, but it was, I knew what it was, and I was
Yes.
in bed, I was sleeping anyway. I was going to go to sleep, so I woke up the next morning feeling fine. But yeah, there's a lot going on. There's definitely a lot of shifts happening.
Well, I think what that can be, that hissing or even like a ringing of frequency, is they're actually changing your template to raise it to a higher sort of template. So that hissing is like a recalibration that's
Mm.
happening in your energetic field. And you can ask them if it's getting on your nerves. You can say, oh, can you just sort of please turn it down a little bit?
Yeah, it's okay
you
right
know,
now. I can still hear it. It's okay
is it?
now, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
it's pretty intense.
Yeah, so that's a good sign. And yeah, I've been getting ascension symptoms as well. And they just sort of can come out of the blue too, which is unusual.
Mm.
So all that sort of energetic stuff is also, I think a lot of people are feeling that headaches and weird sleeping patterns and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a lot going on. It's I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, it's almost as if like everything with obviously everything happens for a reason, and it's like we had to go through the dark period. And
Mm.
it was like the entire time we were living this pseudo reality, right? Where we were being directed towards something that we didn't want to go to. We didn't even know that we were going there, most of
Yeah,
us. And then
yeah.
it took something obviously very massive. It's like when you're in a job that you don't like and you don't do anything about it forever, and all of a sudden
Mm.
something has to give. Like either you have a mental breakdown or you get fired or whatever. That's what happened. We were foisted into this, all of a sudden, this massively satanic kind of direction, and it's very obvious. You can see it everywhere. Uh,
Yeah,
if you have the eyes to
totally.
see. And even if you don't have the eyes to see, you got to at least admit that there's something weird going on, right? Something
Oh, yes.
a little
Add
untoward.
up. Yeah,
And
yeah,
now we're forced to take action and do something about it. So it was like
exactly.
it was written, in the stars a long time ago. I think that yes, Earth would get there at some point, but in order to get to the next level, we had to go through a whole pile of crap first, and that's where we
100%.
find
And
ourselves.
you can see it in people's personal lives too, because often they're getting spiritual tests or lessons to stand in their sovereignty individually. I get it all the time with clients where they're being pushed in one way to be disempowered or to have their power taken off them or to be controlled or something. And so it's their higher test individually to stand in their own empowerment and to
Mm,
step out of their individual control structures that are in their personal field. And then this is reflecting the collective stepping out of all these, enslavement control structures from the dark elite that we've been stepping out of as well. So people can see it not only in the macro, but also in the micro.
yeah, yeah. Now's the time, and actually, the song that I was going to preview today, that you've already heard, um, was really
It's
all
great.
about that. Like it was all about stepping into your power and how close we are to the end, and how it might seem like it's always bad, but it's actually not. Like eventually it will have to stop. Nothing lasts forever.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I was going to share a song like that too that I wrote, and it had similar wording. It's actually about, I wrote it, funnily enough, ages ago, years and years ago, but it's about this now moment, and it's called Stand Strong.
Mm,
And I actually had it out there, in social media and hadn't done a lot with it. And this wonderful film maker in Australia, Darren Larkman, he asked if he could make a video of it. And so that was really exciting. And we made a video. Some of it was shot in Warrnambool, Victoria, and some of it was shot out Ballarat Way, in regional Victoria. And the words of the song are really about completely standing in your power at the moment, regardless of what happens, and even what happens to your physical body, your physical vehicle. So I had a soul memory, a cellular soul memory of a past life where I was a Hungarian gypsy, and I was tortured by the Nazis in World War II. And so that's where the song came from. So it's this real deep, painful, but defiantly resilient place that we stand in our power no matter what happens to us in the physical. So the words are, when the clouds begin to gather, when the storm begins to break, I will stand strong in my spirit, even though the earth may quake. And it's actually literally quaking. I didn't even think of that at the time, but, with all the dumps and everything, being exploded, it's literally quaking. And I didn't know anything about that when I wrote it. And when people crush each other and let darkness rule their soul, though my body may be broken, my spirit will stay whole. So even if they physically, try to impact you on some level, your spirit can never be touched. It's always going to be eternal, and it will stay that way no matter what. And the chorus is, stand strong against the tide. The wind might make you fall. Hold tight to your beliefs. Your body may be broken, but your spirit will stand tall. And then in the middle it talks about there's a sacred space inside. No one can deny. No one can take this away, though they may try. So it's totally about this time right at the minute. And it has a real strength, this song, like a real defiance. And it's a bit like a mantra when you listen to it. So I'm going to leave. I'll leave.
Do you have it on YouTube? We can play it now if you like.
Yes, I can. I'll insert it either in the video here, or I'll put a link below. But it's a strong song to help people really stand in their empowerment at this time.
Yeah.
When the clouds begin to gather, when the storm begins to break, I will stand strong in my spirit, even though the earth may quake. And when people crush each other and let darkness rule their soul, though my body may be broken, my spirit will stay whole. Stand strong, stand strong, stand strong against the tide. The wind might make you fall. Hold tight, hold tight to your belief. Your body may be ravaged, but your spirit will stand tall. When the clouds begin to gather, when the storm begins to break, I will stand strong in my spirit, even though the earth may quake. And when people crush each other and the darkness rule their soul, though my body may be broken, my spirit will stay whole. Stand strong, stand strong, stand strong against the tide. The wind might make you fall. Hold tight, hold tight to your belief. Your body may be ravaged, but your spirit will stand tall. There's a sacred space inside. No one can deny. No one can take this away. though they may try, how hard they may try. When the clouds begin to gather, when the storm begins to break, I will stand strong in my spirit, even though the earth may quake. And when people crush each other, and the darkness rule their soul, though my body may be broken, my spirit will stay whole. Stand strong, stand strong, stand strong against the tide. The wind might make you fall. Ooh. Hold tight, hold tight to your belief. Your body may be ravished, but your spirit will stand tall.
Yeah, I think it's very needed. I was thinking about the music and the way things are headed, because like everything, everything's been kind of bastardized and everything's been controlled in many ways, and even there aren't too many people out there writing lyrics like that.
Yes, because it was hijacked by the dark, the whole industry,
Yeah,
and so it was part of their agenda. So I
like
had
everything.
I had a level of success with some of my songs, and when people listen to them, they go, "Wow, they're amazing." But I couldn't get to any of that level of what was so-called success, because I'm not part of that
Yeah,
agenda and
wrong lyrical content.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited that we're going to share a bit more about music today too, because I just love music, and I think it's such an important part of our journeys, and raising the frequency of the planet, even changing the hertz from that
Right,
the Hitler inspired hertz, that
440.
yes, which is a sort of a bit of a nefarious energy that more than making cells whole, it impacts cells to sort of destabilize them and unsettle them. Whereas the new energies that we want to be great when we have that really calming, soothing, holistic frequency in everything that we listen to. Is it 432 hertz? Yeah,
Yes.
is the good one.
Yep.
Yeah. So that will be great when we can have that around the planet with all our music. And so every time you listen to it, the frequency is very, very healing and harmonizing.
Yeah, there are many frequencies, aren't there? I mean, there's solfeggio frequencies and 528 and 432 and a bunch of other ones, which I can't remember all of them. But
Yes.
yeah, you can actually, and I wanted to do this when I found out about the 440 and the 432. I wanted to write all my songs in 432, and you can actually change it in your software, in your DAW. So you
Yes,
can,
there's a program, I think, isn't there, online that you can use?
yeah, you don't even need to do that. I think you can just tune your guitar to it. So you might even be able to do it in the post-production. I'm not sure, but you can definitely do it. So I might start doing that, because it's going to be, it's where the world is headed anyway. And
100%. Yep. I think it's going to be fantastic if everyone does that. I love tell me a bit more about your first song that you released before, about the background to writing that. I'd love to hear about that first song you released a little while ago.
oh yeah, yeah. So that one was about it was about a social media incident that I had with somebody that I knew, and there was a post that somebody put out, and I basically just shared the post and just said yes, and it was the post was basically it was like my responsibility to take care of my health and the government's responsibility to protect my rights, or something like that. And and this person kind of said, it's not all about you, because like if I was writing that post, I would say it's the government's responsibility to protect our rights, and and it's
Yes.
our responsibility to protect our health. But that's what the post said. I just shared it, so it said me, and my, and so of course they said, oh, it's all about you, and like, which is not, obviously, but anyway, we had a bit of a back and forth, and the funny thing is that I'd written a post. This was like a year prior to that. I'd written a post about the mandatory things when they announced it was going to be mandatory, and then they backpedaled. And the same person commented, and then now this post was a year on, and nothing had changed in their world. They were probably more fearful than they ever had been.
Yes.
And
yes.
And it was really interesting to see the lack of growth. And
yes.
But all that aside, I decided to.
Sounds like you were triggering their energy.
Yeah. But I wanted to,
Yeah.
I wanted to take that experience and turn it into a song. So I
Positive.
did, into a positive. And so I got a cool song out of it. And since then, I've actually done a new version. I've turned it into a piano song, and I've added a bit of a drum beat and added some strings and a bass guitar. So I'll release that at some point too. And that's pretty much finished. So, that will, it's a completely different version of the song.
I love that, how you turn that experience creatively into something, utilize that energy in a really positive, constructive way. There are things you can do as well energetically with energies like that. You can, make sure that you've cleared your energy field and cut cords, and just also Ho'oponopono, the prayer can be good to just,
I do that all the time, that one.
Yeah, disconnect energy with that person. But that they can be wonderful catalysts for positive, those sorts of things too, which is a great example.
Speak my truth. You don't want me to. It conflicts with you. Rattles your delicate world. You're making assumptions. You know nothing about me. You're making assumptions. You know nothing about me. Call me selfish like that. Then my comments fight back. My heart attacks, shatters your fragile world. You're making assumptions. You know nothing about me. You're making assumptions. You know nothing about me. And I want you to know you know nothing about me. making assumptions. You know nothing about me. You're making assumptions. You know nothing about me.
You know, we
Yeah.
can see it as a negative if we want to, or we can see it as a positive, and there's always a positive and there's always a silver lining, as they say. So
well, I'd love to share with you another song that I wrote that was catalyzed by when I went through a divorce. You know, I had challenges with my ex and the kids and everything like that. And I wrote a song about that. And then it was really relevant when my partner's mother died. It was also really relating to her. And when we recorded, it was just before the moment that she passed. And so it had a lot of different meanings in it. And so I wrote this song. The words are very philosophical, but it's called No Last Goodbye. And these are the words. So it says, leaving all the shadows of my youth, if only I knew then the things that I know now, putting all memories in a place where I can see that they have helped me out. And the chorus is, so I try and I strive and I try and I fall and I try and then I can fly. I move fast, I move on, and with tears I will not cry because I know there is no last goodbye. So that's about how we're all interconnected. We're all one unified field. We're all one consciousness, and there is no separation. That's just the 3D dualistic, polarized framework that we've been living in, but it's an illusion. And so the next verse was, meeting all new faces and new places, knowing some will stay and some will fade into the past, knowing what to hold and what to leave, who believes in me and what do I believe. And then the last verse was, moving forward on this scattered journey, sometimes rolling with the waves and sometimes tossed at sea, hoping that my life has had some meaning and I leave a footprint or the smallest legacy. So it's like, you know, when we go through life, we want to feel like we've touched the world in some positive way and left some sort of positive footprint behind. And so that's what that song was about. And then I can fly. funny because we with our music, we did get a bit of a profile. We had a few things that happened, like we got an international publishing deal, and we had a review done by the Washington Post, and it was on that song, and they said it was ABBA-esque because I love ABBA.
Yeah.
And so I took that as a big compliment. But I actually know every single ABBA song. I know all the words. I could sing every song. I know for some people that can be a bit daggy, but I don't care. I always loved them, ever from the beginning all the way through. I never had a moment when I didn't love them. And it's interesting too, because I wanted to talk about this as well, because it's really relevant at the moment, Dave. ABBA just released a whole big new album called Voyage. Have you listened to it?
No, I know they came out with a new album. I was listening to ABBA Gold the other day. I kind of listened like the older stuff, yeah, but I haven't heard the new one.
Oh, okay. Well, it's very interesting because I'm an ABBA aficionado. Is it I can't say the word, but you know what I mean.
I think aficionado.
That one, expert. That's it.
Yeah,
and I know the ABBA songs. I know the ABBA sound, and so I know all the originals really, really well. And I listened to that ABBA record, and it was really interesting because I felt what Janine actually said about it. She was asked about this ABBA record, and she said that she thought the real people didn't make it, but it was done by the white hats to sort of support this transition process. And that is actually what I felt when I listened to these Voyage songs, because it didn't feel like the real McCoy to me. It felt a little bit like a poor man's version of ABBA, the songs that they didn't have the same depth and the same profundity of the original ABBA songs, or the same catchiness or anything. I mean, there was a couple of songs in it that I like called Little Things, which is a Christmas song, is quite sweet, and Bumblebee about protecting the environment and the importance of bees. I quite liked them. I thought they were very sweet. But on the whole, I thought the whole album felt to me quite wishy-washy. And I didn't feel it was like really ABBA. In some ways. And then you look at the photos and the girls before, Frida used to be way taller than Anna, but now in the photos, Anna's taller than Frida. And I don't know what's going on there, but it could be right with Janine saying that these aren't even the real, people that wrote it, but it was done as a signaling thing. And then you look at the lyrics and the titles of the songs, because there's one of the songs is I Still Have Faith in You. So it's like, the white hat saying, still have faith in humanity. We can do this. Another of the titles is Don't Shut Me Down, which to me directly relates to the lockdowns. Don't shut me down. I don't want any more lockdowns. It's because that's in the psyche of human consciousness at the minute. Then there's another song, Ode to Freedom, which is obviously, about stepping out of enslavement and that sort of thing as well. And then the absolute piece de resistance of the whole thing is this. Get a load of this, Dave. One of the songs is called Keep an Eye on Dan. Now, I swear to you, I am sure, call me delusional, but I'm sure they're talking about Daniel Andrews.
Why would they write about him, of all people? That's funny.
Well, this is the funny thing, because they had their biggest success in Australia initially got them firing, got them going. And Melbourne was like, they were like the Beatles when they came here. The reception they had when they got here was world headlines. It was in Melbourne. So Melbourne does have a significance for them. And then I thought, well, it might not even be them. That will be the white hats, signaling. I love it. Keep an eye on Dan.
That's really funny. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? And then, so this is my theory on the whole Voyage album. And I just want to give people, if they are ABBA fans like me, there's this absolutely stunningly beautiful song that hardly anyone's ever heard of. It was written by Agnetha. Agnetha's a beautiful songwriter herself in her own, sort of abilities. She wrote this stunning song called I Was a Flower. And to me, it's so hauntingly beautiful. It's a bit like The Winner Takes It All, and stunning song. So everyone Google I Was a Flower by Agnetha. I'll even leave a link below on my on my channel and have a listen to that song, because it's as good as some of the best ABBA songs, I think. Just my opinion, but yeah. So that's my
cool.
ABBA.
I'll have to check out the lyrics for Keep an Eye on Dan then, and see. Speaking of which, the poor guy is in isolation at the moment because he had a party or something, and apparently he was around somebody that tested positive, and he's had a test and he's waiting for his results, which coincided very coincidentally with his court date today. So
exactly.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. But I wonder,
Yeah.
it's interesting because obviously the White Hats are in control, and a lot of people have been dropping out of the political arena, and I just wonder, like, when his time is going to come, in terms of for
I know what you're saying in terms of in front of everybody, so
Yes.
people can see that.
Right.
I mean, what's happening on the inside, we don't really know because he's probably long gone, but
Yeah.
people need to be able to feel that they have been able to receive justice through this process, and they need to see that. So I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That will be very cathartic for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I wonder when that will happen, and
Yeah.
I guess did you see one of Bosey's recent
I
videos
did.
where he was talking about how the first quarter of next year there'll be more lockdowns, but there'll be good ones, and they'll be rounding people up. So
yes,
I guess you'd have to assume it's going to happen in the next few months then, if that were the case. And
definitely. Gee, he really sounds like a white hat, doesn't he? With all this insider knowledge. Those first 3 months of 2022, yes, he said just sort of hang in there and know that there could be this huge, are we able to say Marshall LAW? I don't know if we can say that for those 3 months while we and we have to stockpile, food and all that sort of thing, and just hang in there while that all gets cleaned up, because on the streets there could be all sorts of stuff going on as it's being sorted. And then after that there'll be this transition into whole new sort of systems, I think, and that actually could well coincide with what information we found out this morning that Dr. Michael Sala was talking about, which is, they are it's the minions that were under them and just being cleared up now, but the higher ones up are gone, and so it's just a matter of cleaning up the other layers that were underneath that. And so that could synchronize with that information. Yeah,
well, I think definitely December was going to be something big was going to happen. Maybe you may not see it, but definitely something behind the scenes big was going to happen and there was going to be the beginning of the end. Like the beginning, we'd start to see things, and perhaps even the rollbacks now over East are a sign of that. I hope so. I mean, I hope it's not just a temporary thing. Of course, with the people that play, and you would assume that they would try and make us throw a big tantrum or make as much trouble as they could on the way out.
100%.
That's the kind of people not people, but that's the kind of beings they are.
And we're seeing that with the original people, which is really horrendous. We all want that to stop. So that's one way that we're seeing that, and hope that that as many of them can be able to be protected as possible through this process. Our beautiful original family, and we're sending our love and prayers out to you all, and this time.
I guess it's just going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next 2 weeks, even, because I think, I really do hope that, and we're all just hoping and praying for something big to happen. We've all been wanting like one big arrest or something big, something huge to kind of give us the nod, that yes, there are benevolent forces in control.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I think all the little things that you're seeing really add up, especially in the first part of this month. I mean, how many resignations were there at the start of December? So many, like all over the world.
Just every day you wake up to a new one. It was
right.
Great.
So, but at the same time, definitely in the political world anyway, if they're going to usher in the one world thing, one world government, then there needs to be a reason for it, and they'd need all the governments to collapse in that respect, wouldn't they? Otherwise, there'd be no need to usher it in. So
yes.
But in terms of CEOs and stuff and CFOs, because a lot of CFOs and CEOs have been stepping down, I believe that's an entirely different kettle of fish, from the political world, because they're not ushering they've already controlled the business anyway. There's no need for them to step down,
Well, it shows the widespread effects of what's going on underneath, because it's not just the political arena. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think that when you look at it all the little bits and pieces that are happening, it really adds up. If we were really under fully this New World Order control, we'd probably be in the camps by now, especially people who are speaking up.
Right.
I do feel like there was a level of humanity trying to be awoken by information that was coming out too, because we all want to ascend together into this new reality. And so, like you said before, people needed a push. And it is a spiritual war as well, between the dark and the light. And that's never going to be a simple thing. It's going to be extremely challenging for many people. And in a sense, you can't avoid that. But
the only way to avoid it is to leave the earth plane, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And the souls that had made the contract to leave at this time, and there might be some that have thought at a higher level they can do more work for the good on the other side. So they go, I'm out of here, I'm going to do work on the other side. And so they cross over and they do it from the other side. I'm getting a lot of energies. I'm saying that. So for anyone listening who's experienced that with a loved one, maybe they're on the other side and feel that they can accomplish more there. So
right.
Yeah, there's so many layers to all this. And also the other thing that I'm got in mind is coming up to Christmas. You've got people that are connecting with loved ones and family members who some have this, some don't have this, and there's a whole lot of division in opinions about it all. And sometimes some aren't welcome to come because they've got different viewpoints and all this. So it's a really important time to know that in these last sort of phases of what we're going through, is required the deepest level of strength and resilience. And when you come to situations when loved ones perhaps aren't talking to you or not wanting to see or whatever, just stay strong, knowing that soon energetically this is all going to start shifting, and we're going to go into a whole new energy where we're going to be co-creators of and rebirthers of a new systems and new world, and everyone will be needed for that, and everyone's got unique gifts and skills that will be required to build this whole new earth, this going towards the fifth dimensional earth, so the golden age. So
it's going to be so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah, exactly. So just saying, you're all needed out there. Everyone's needed. And so don't feel like, you're coming to a point where you're just redundant. It's exactly the opposite. And keep your visions and your goals of what you're passionate about and what you're here to do.
Yeah, precisely. There was who was it? I think it was Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson, Janine did a video with him.
Great.
Yeah. Yes. He did a video recently where he was talking about how a lot of people have lost their job, and whilst that's a bad thing, because you can't earn money, it's obvious that it's not your calling. If it was your calling, you'd still be doing it, right? So, unfortunately, a lot of people have taken the thing to keep their job, and who really wants to work for someone who's going to mandate that anyway, or a company that's going to mandate that anyway? I get it though. Everybody needs money to live, and it's been a very extremely stressful time for a lot of people. So it's not an easy decision to make when you're going against your every fiber of your being to take this thing that you don't want to take just so you can put food on the table. Like, it's a horrendous position to be in.
Absolutely. I think, there are protocols and things that people can do as well if they've been in that position. People are welcome to contact me. I do sessions on a whole lot of energetic shifting and things as well, 1 hour sessions, if people would like that. So, there's different things that you can do to be able to work with that. For example, this is really exciting. I don't know if you've heard about this, but I found out there was a free trial of a quantum med bed, and I went and I had a go. I did that, and I could feel it.
In Speed Heads, they had this.
No, it's a global thing where you can just, there's a certain thing that you watch the videos and you give them some information, and then they do this quantum medbed healing, when it scans your energy and gives you, and it was huge. I could feel it working. I'm very sensitive to energy. The end of it, I could feel. Yes, quantum, because quantum, everything's, quantum entanglement, everything is connected, and so they can zap in and see what needs working on and work on that. And I woke up really, really, it's quite, when you've had a huge healing and you feel quite tired, you're quite zapped. I woke up like that, feeling like, oh wow, I've had a huge, and then it was like a really deep sleep, but also you could feel the work that was being done on me, and even part of my head, I could feel the energy going in and shifting and different things going on. So it was huge. So that sort of thing's coming, and it's already available now. So if you'd like to find out more about that, I'll leave a link below for people to be able to utilize that. But so cool. So you should try it, David.
I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
But I've got this song, my last song I wanted to share, because it's really positive. Was a song about how we're moving into this new energy, and it's called Touch the Sun, and it's a sort of a celebration song. And so the words are: up we rise, the human race, preparing to show another face, knowing consciousness is one, no endless nights, just only sun. Finally the time is here, we can wipe all those tears dry. In the end, when all is love, we can still hold our heads up high. See, we can be together in a state of grace. We don't have to come from any other place but our hearts. And then the next verse is: up we saw the human voice, enlightened with another choice. Knowing every breath is one, we can reach and touch the sun. Finally, the time is here, we can wipe all those tears dry. In the end, when all is love, we can still hold our heads up high. See, we can live together in a state of peace. We don't have to have tension to exist. And so it's just this new energy going to, and the song is really, really high frequency. It's an activation, actually, energetic activation. And I used to tour doing some concerts in Victoria, and I would sing this and other songs like this, and people would spontaneously cry, and it would be like a healing, energetic healing, like when you do Reiki, and that's the same sort of thing, but it's coming through sound. Right. So I'll either put the video in now, or I'll leave a link below. Up we rise, the human race, preparing to show another face, knowing consciousness is one, no endless nights, just only sun. Finally, the time is here, we can wipe all those tears dry. In the end, when all is love, we can still hold our heads up high. See, we can be together in a state of grace. We don't have to come from any other place but our hearts. Up soar the human voice, enlightened with another choice. Knowing every breath is one, we can reach and touch the sun. Finally, the time
in the end, when all is now, we can still hold our heads up high. See, we can live together in a state of peace. We don't have to have tension to exist, to exist. Up we rise, the human race, preparing to show another face, knowing every breath is one. We can reach and touch the sun. We can reach and touch the sun. We can reach and touch the sun. Yeah, 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 yeah. We can reach and touch the sun. Ooh, ooh,
I love that we can work with sound, and you can even match that with color. You know, color and sound using the vibrational frequencies of two things together can be even more impactful. So, for example, say you wanted to work on your heart chakra, you could visualize the color and listen to the song that really impacts your heart, and you're working on the two separate levels to have that energetic shift. So, yeah.
Have you seen? There's a guy who created some sort of a device that you can. It's kind of like, jumper leads for your car. It's kind of like that, but just really tiny versions of those.
Is it this
one? No, not that.
Is it
No,
Healy?
No, not Healy.
Healy.
And you get two little things. It's kind of like jumper leads, but you put them on a tree, on a plant, and it's a speaker there, and it plays
yes,
plays the songs the tree is singing. Like, it's amazing.
That's right. And then it tries to synchronize and harmonize with the sound that the human is playing, because it just naturally wants to unify its field with you. It's beautiful. I love that. And you can actually, you can attach them to trees in the forest, and then and they actually play music, play sound frequencies with you. That is so beautiful. You can create a whole orchestra with that.
I can totally see having that like in a forest or something, and setting it up in such a way that whenever you walk into the forest, like the music's just playing all the time, or like you're in the park or something, and we're moving to this entirely new world, so it's going to be amazing. But just imagine you're in a park or something, and there's this music just playing, and it's the tree music, or
Oh, so beautiful. And it will tune into you, and say you're feeling a little sad, it'll probably sing something to you to lift you up and make you feel better, because it's trying to help you release your sadness. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah.
I think I'm so beyond, like, I know this is going to take some time, but I really do think that we're gonna see some big headway in the next 5 to 10 years, even in the next 2. I think is going to be
absolutely,
it's going to be good. So. But it kind of makes me want to live another 100 years so I can fully experience the full potential of what this earth has to offer, because it's just going to be beyond imaginable. It's going to be.
Well, there was somebody I was listening to that was saying that people of our generation, actually I'm quite a bit older than you, so I probably couldn't put you in my generation, but but we're considered that we might be able to live to like at least 200, and then the younger people that haven't been on the planet as long might be way more, 600 or whatever, so there definitely is the potential for that, especially when we consider that we have been under this huge level of occult sort of dark magic influence
killing
that
us
has
slowly
tried
and
to suppress us in every way, trying to stop humanity from flowering in every way. So that's been removed now. That's been taken away. And so, we can just tap into all these amazing abilities.
No sickness,
and gifts.
No disease, no,
exactly, no cancer.
no poison food, no poisoned water.
Oh, well, that'll be nice, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, just those two things alone,
yeah.
EMF, like good EMF, it's just going to be, it's going to be crazy. I'm just beyond excited. I can't even contain myself at times because it's like, it's just going to be insane.
Fantastic. I know. And the more that we think about what that will mean, what will the world look like when all these things are activated, all the patents that have been suppressed,
more
for
trees, more
free energy, but everything, it's like, what can you imagine that then can be brought into the physical, and it's only
there's no limits.
Limited by your imagination.
Exactly. Yeah, there are no limits. I mean, we've been taught that there are limits, and there are people out there that think, oh, we've hit this peak in technology, but we haven't. It's just been suppressed. And
that's right.
Obviously,
that's
right. The technology already exists for a lot of these things that we have no idea about, right? Because of they've just kept it for themselves. But I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, it's just going to be insane.
I have a really exciting vision for what I want to do when I go into the new earth, but I'm not going to share it just yet, because sometimes you dissipate the energy of things when you put them out there. But it's something that I'm really excited about. That's the goal of what I want to do moving forward, and it's a wildly ambitious thing. But you know what? What the heck? We're going into the, amazing new energy. And why should we have limitations or restrictions? Dream big, everyone. Go for gold.
You shouldn't have any limitations anyway, but especially in the new world. Like, we'll be living in a world of abundance and limitless potential.
Yes, exactly.
And
exactly.
the only limits we have are the ones in our mind anyway. So,
totally. Yes, the mind just wants small because it's very much based on what's gone before, so it likes the sort of status quo, and it doesn't like to do anything unfamiliar, because that triggers fear and triggers all the sort of alarm bells ring, and it's not secure and safe anymore. So that's the mental body, the mind, the lower self. What we want to do is go in the heart, come from the heart space, and then emanate from there. And I think once we start to make that shift, and really mindfully, conscientiously just come from that space of divine unconditional love, wow, things we could do. So,
I don't know. I'm just super excited. I don't want time to go so fast that, just to get there. Obviously, I want to enjoy my life too. I don't want it to fast forward 10 years, but at the same time, I'm just too intrigued to kind of see like what the next few years have in store for us, and just that things like international travel. I'd imagine that would be completely revolutionized, and we'd be able to get to the other side of the world in just a matter of hours.
It'd be great to bilocate.
Maybe even less. Huh?
Yeah, just bilocate, so we don't even have to take a vehicle. I mean, you can actually do that by working with a Merkaba, but you sort of need to know what you're doing, because you don't want to just sort of get stuck.
Kind of, or
you envision where you want to go and you're there. You don't want to misuse the gifts of a Merkaba, because you can maybe get stuck in a different dimension or something. So you need to sort of know what you're doing. But there are all those abilities. For sure.
Do you see humans getting to the point where we can fly, because I think anything's possible, it's
100%.
Levitation. There are probably people that can do that, so why not be able to
totally
fly around in the sky?
It's just mastering matter, and as we go into the fifth dimension, I think that will be part of what we're integrating as our spiritual gifts, or all those things where we are learning how to master matter, and it's all possible, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Well, I think that'd be a good place to leave it.
Yes. Can I tell people too? I always forget to say this in my interviews, but I have really lovely page on my website, which has got all beautiful artwork, which has got activations in it. It's very colourful. It's very high frequency. If people want to go there, and it's very affordable. It makes a lovely gift. So that's on my website. And then I've got also some books, which are really, again, high frequency, high vibration, and some original music, same thing. And it's all very affordable. So if people want to check it out, that would be lovely. I can leave links below.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Medyhne and I will both be posting this video on our YouTube, so we'll have links to all of that below as well, both of them.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, so lovely to chat with you, Dave, and I think we covered some great stuff, and I'm really happy too that we were able to talk about some of the positive aspects of where we are and going forward too, because, you know, leaving that energy behind it is really powerful at the moment, just as we're going through the last stages of this.
Yeah, the final stages of this absolute dystopian nightmare. And, you know, to be honest, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, I think, you know, it's always good to be mindful of the fact that, yes, a lot of people have suffered in this entire time, and the world's gone through such treacherous, you know, period, you know, in history. But for one, it's absolutely necessary, because if we didn't go through it, the alternative would have been far worse. And
100%. Yep, totally.
And for two, the second thing is, obviously, you know, there's no growth without pain. So how can we expect to get anywhere if we don't go through this collectively? You know,
exactly. I always like to think of it as we're all holding hands with one another. You know, we're all spread around the world, we're all holding hands, and we're holding one another through this, and we're holding each other, supporting one another. We're not doing it alone. So just envisaging everybody holding hands together, walking through this is a powerful symbol, I think.
Yeah. And just to end, I think that even though they've tried to divide us in every which way possible, the people have really come together in such an amazing way. Like, there's a lot of, you know, you see people at the protest, you know, those are people who have different religious beliefs, they support different football teams, they support, you know, different political parties, whatever. It's not the point. You know, the point is that the freedom is the one thing, and that, you know, the liberty is the one thing that they all want, you know. And
yes, exactly. And the more, it's interesting, the more it's like quantum physics, the more something pushes one way, so the dark pushes one way, it actually has the opposite effect to the same degree in the opposite direction. So the more they push against people coming together and dividing us, the more it goes actually, and this is a quantum physics thing, it goes in the opposite direction. Everyone binds together, and that is a complete energetic response as well to that pushing in one direction. I love how the universe does that. It's like, personally, I had sort of the dark come at me, trying to suppress me, and now I'm getting out there in a bigger way than I ever have in my life, because this force is trying to, you know, squash my voice, but it's actually going out even bigger. So thank you for that. You know, and I find that that's what's happening in the world energetically as well. And it's very interesting.
And that's another reason why we had to experience it, because we never would have come together if it weren't for that, would we?
That's true. Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome, Medyhne. Great to chat with you again, and we'll do it again in a couple of weeks. And have a lovely afternoon.
And let's see what's happening then. Woohoo!
yeah, it's going to be pretty good for the next 13, 14 days, hopefully. I mean, not long to go.
No. Oh, well, lots of love to everyone out there too, listening.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll speak to you shortly.
Beautiful. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.